we are joined by another keynote speaker of the program inaugural in today's sixth edition of Elets National PSU Summit. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Rajnath Ram. Mr. Rajnath Ram is currently working as Advisor Energy at NITI Aayog, Government of India.
Thank you very much for inviting me here. And let me thank the organizers for inviting me for this sixth Elite National PSU Summit 2021. I'm dealing with the energy sector per se and all the program and policies relating to the energy sector, including the energy modeling, data management, and other international cooperation of programs of the government. My take on the public sector enterprises in the energy sector that we have in the oil and gas sector. There are three major public sector: the Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum. And similarly, in the coal sector, Coal India Limited and its 8 subsidiaries. And in the renewable sector, we have created one PSU, is called SECI, Solar Energy Corporation of India. And the power sector also, we have the PSUs, both in the generation side and the transmission and distribution side. In the nuclear sector also, there is a PSUs called Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited. And the whole objective of creating this PSUs by the government is to provide or ensure the energy security, provide the energy access to the common people, and they have played a major role while meeting the government objective. See, the recently, just 2 years back, Honorable Prime Minister announced the Saubhagya scheme, and this Saubhagya scheme has very much ensured the access to the electricity for the common people, and 100% electrification has been achieved, and this could have not been done without the support of all the PSUs. So they certainly there are bigger role of these PSUs to meet the national objective and the national goals, whatever the government is setting up. Similarly, in the renewable sector, if you say the Solar Energy Corporation of India Limited has also played a very major role in terms of arranging the tripartite agreement for power sale. The power procurement and then setting up PPA with the DESCOM. So that's a major role. Unless you have the offtake guarantee, it would have been very difficult to penetrate the renewable sector, renewable electricity in the entire energy basket. Similarly, being the strategic sector, Nuclear Power Corporation India Limited, they have played major role, and they have now, with the indigenization of the technology, without any outside support, in some of the plants they have, but they have indigenized the technology, and they are now going in a big way in the pressurized heavy water reactor kind of installation within the country. And so initial cost of the power, definitely it's higher, but in the long run, if you say taking the economic life of almost 60-70 years, the tariff it really comes down. So that's the initiative of Atmanirbhar Bharat and all those different kind of movement by the government. The national PSUs has played a major role. But at the same time, we have to also bring efficiency into the sector. So that's critical. And keeping this perspective in mind, government also provided them autonomy, giving them a mini Ratna status, providing them a Navratna status, and some of the PSUs have been given Maharatna status with the certain net worth bandwidth, they can take their own decision. They should not come to the government for taking different kind of approvals. So they are free to take their decisions, and they can go ahead with the installation of the projects or any kind of their business activities, since they are not dependent any kind of budgetary support from the government. They have to generate their own resources, and also taking care of their employees, and also they are in the terms they are also paying dividend to the government. So their role is incredible, and certainly one cannot ignore their role within the current system. But at the same time, there are several PSUs which are not performing well. So they need to be considered for restructuring, and government is thinking that if they can be divested, or bringing more private players to uh, manage their businesses, that perhaps this is the need of the hour also, to increase the efficiency within the sector. So these are the couple of things I think is required within the energy space, and a lot of movement is happening. And at the same time, the technological disruptions is always happening. In the energy sector, there's always the new technology. You have to bring the efficiency into the system, and the whole objective is uh, to provide the low cost energy to the people, and you should also ensure the last mile connectivity to the people who are residing in the remote areas, or the where the connectivity is a problem, in ensuring the transmission line, and providing all form of energy access to the people. So and there also the PSUs has played a major role. So I'm sure this uh, uh, this session that has been organized for the National PSU Summit for 2021 would provide a greater insight to building and strengthening the PSUs, uh, and ensuring and bringing more efficiency within this sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rajnath Ram, for beautifully giving the perspective of Government of India, particularly NITI Aayog, with reference to the energy space, and also you mentioned about the technological disruptions, how technology has disrupted all walks of operations in in the field of energy. One quick question, Mr. Rajnath Ram, if I may ask you. As far as policy is concerned, do we have any specific policy, or should there be any specific policy that eases the scaling of PSUs to global levels? If not, in your opinion, should the government come up with such a policy? Scaling of PSUs to the global levels. What is being done and what
Uh,
could be done?
no, a scaling of PSUs with the global level. That's why I just mentioned you. Some of the PSUs have been provided with a Maharatna status. So uh, they're scaling up their activities, and uh, uh, globalizing themselves and exposed to the global market. It's not limited within the domestic market, but globalizing their services, their production, and exporting some of the products to the global market. That's the Maharatna status have been provided to the different places. Even some of the oil and gas sectors, like Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum, even in exploration and production, ONGC Bidesh Limited, and then Coal India Limited. All of them has been given a Maharatna status, and that certain percentage of network has been earmarked to globalize their activity across the world. So that the government has taken a step.
Thank you, Mr. Rajnath. Another quick question regarding the cross-selling programs. Do you think that cross-selling programs can be held for PSUs wherein a team of professionals are sent to foreign countries for public sector enterprises for capacity building and vice versa? Basically, exchange of knowledge between the best practices, best organizations in India vis-a-vis foreign countries.
That is certainly required. That is certainly required because uh, keeping the pace of the technological disruptions, you require to gain the knowledge. You should consider the technology transfer. You should gain knowledge. You must build the capacity of your employees to cater to the fast changing world. So that's very much required. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rajnath Ram, for beautifully bringing up the particular perspective of Government of India, NITI Aayog, with reference to the power and energy sector. The public sector in India has traveled a long journey since 1955 till today. In the 50s, the lack of enterprise, lack of capital, and lack of a robust private sector. And today, we are going through a time in the globalized environment where there is no dearth of capital, no dearth of technology, and particularly it's a boundaryless market in these days. So the public sector in India has truly come of age, and now time has come for them to reinvent themselves, leveraging technology and address the challenges of the future. So with this, we thank you once again, Mr. Rajnath Ram, advisor Niti Aayog, for giving your perspective here on the public sector enterprises.